Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm betting that after today, you will never need to buy sandwich bread at the grocery store again. And why would you when you can make a soft, tender, delicious loaf of homemade sandwich bread in just a few simple steps? I can't wait to share it with you. Let's get started. First up, we'll need 3 cups of flour, and I'm using bread flour, which is great if you have it. Bread flour has a higher protein content, which will give your bread a little more structure and a little more rise. So bread flour if you have it. If not, don't worry, all-purpose flour works as well. So we're just gonna do 3 cups, and this is for a single loaf of bread. I know a lot of you are cooking for 1 or 2, so I know you probably don't need 2 loaves at a time. So I've made this recipe for just 1 loaf. Okay, next up is 1 tablespoon of sugar. We do need some sugar in there for good flavor and also to help feed the yeast. Next is 1½ teaspoons salt. Now the next step is to stir this. You want to mix up the salt, sugar, and flour. You don't want to be putting your yeast right on top of the salt because salt can actually kill yeast. We're using 1 packet, which comes to 2¼ teaspoons of yeast. And for this one, I am going to use the Rapid Rise Plus, and this is a fantastic combination. It has instant yeast plus dough enhancer. What this dough enhancer does is can keep the bread more moist. It helps it rise faster. It helps it rise better. It makes it softer. When I did a poll among my family and some friends that were over, they all voted for the one using this yeast. So if you're wanting to make the best loaf, this is what I recommend. Now, if you'd rather not use the dough enhancer, you can use the Rapid Rise Instant yeast, or Rapid Rise yeast is what it's called. That will help your dough rise faster and is really reliable as well. And if you'd rather not use either of those, if you already have yeast at home and it is Active Dry Yeast, you can certainly use that. The rising may take just a little bit longer, but all of these will work. Back to Rapid Rise Plus, which has the dough enhancer. We're gonna add that in. Again, it's 1 packet or 2¼ teaspoons. Then we're just gonna mix that together. Mix it all in. We're not doing any proofing today. We're just trying to keep it really, really simple. Next, we need warm water. So I'm gonna head over to the sink and grab that. You need 1 cup of warm water. All right, this is 1 cup of warm water. And if you wanna be sure you have the right temperature because you don't want to kill the yeast, if you have water that's really hot, it can kill the yeast. So you need to have it around 110 degrees. 115 is okay, but nothing over that. So let's see. It is, I think, 112, 111 degrees. So that is just about perfect. To that, I want to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to add it right to the water because it mixes in a lot more easily with the flour when you have all your liquids together. And if you do want a richer dough, you can sub in milk for the water, just make sure it's warm, and then butter, melted butter for the olive oil. Doesn't that sound good? Now we'll add our liquids right in there. So this dough is still looking quite dry, and so I'm adding about 1 to 2 tablespoons more of the hot water. Now at this point, it's nice and it's kind of shaggy like this. Just kind of a mess. I'm going to use my hands just to bring that together with some of the dry flour underneath. Bring that together into a ball. It's important to give your dough a few kneads before you add any more water because it was feeling really dry, but after I kneaded it a little bit more, you can see it's actually quite sticky and does not need any more water. And instead of adding more flour to it, I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top and then just kind of shape it with my hands. The oil makes it a lot less sticky without adding a lot more flour. If you keep adding flour to dough, then it gets kind of dense and just doesn't taste as good. So here's our kind of messy ball of dough. It's exactly what you're looking for. Now to kneading. I'm going to use my KitchenAid stand mixer to knead this time. I had a lot of requests to use the KitchenAid stand mixer for bread, so I'm going to show you how I do it here. If you'd like to see a video where I knead it by hand, just leave a note in the comments and I'll be happy to make one for you. All right, so we take our ball of dough, drop it in the KitchenAid stand mixer with our dough hook attached, and we're going to knead that for about 6 minutes on about level 2. Well, if you're wondering what all that squawking was, here she is. Oh, yeah, who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Can you pipe down a little? About halfway through, I like to just kind of reach in there and pull it off the dough hook because it is pretty sticky, so you just want to make sure everything gets kneaded well. If it's really, really sticky when you do that, you put a little flour on your fingers, dust a little flour on the dough, just a little. You want to use as little extra as possible. So just a little so it's not too sticky, but that feels great. All right, well, let's knead for a few more minutes. All right, it's been about 6 minutes, so let's see how we did. And if you are kneading by hand on a lightly floured surface, you want to do that for about 8 minutes. A little bit of flour. Ooh, sticky still, but looks good. Oh yeah, it looks real nice. Really smooth. All right, now we put it in a lightly oiled bowl. And then we'll put our ball of dough in there, face down, give it a twist in the oil, flip it over. I just kind of round it out a little, let that sit in the oil. And then that's it. Now it's time for the third step, which is rise. We're gonna let the dough rise for about an hour to an hour and a half. To help the dough rise, we are gonna cover it with some plastic wrap or a clean dish towel. And you wanna let it rise for about an hour to an hour and a half. You want it to be doubled in size. What I've been doing lately, because I'm so forgetful, is to go ahead and write the time on here with a Sharpie, 11:05 a.m. So we know when I check the time later, I'll know when it's been an hour. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside in a warm spot. All right, it's been about an hour, so I'm gonna grab the dough. Ta-da, here is the dough. It's risen for about an hour. You can see it's a lot bigger than when we started. And pop this off, really pretty. The next step is to punch it down. Just gonna give it a punch, like that. Let all that air deflate. At this point, the gluten is all very relaxed and we don't wanna tighten it up again. So kneading it, working a lot, that's gonna tighten up the gluten and make it, it won't rise as well. It becomes very dense. And I do have an example to show you. Here is one that I kneaded too much after the first rise. You can see it's a lot, it didn't rise as well, and it's a very dense loaf. So not as good as this one where we did not knead it after the first rise. So keep that in mind when you're making this dough. You do not want to knead at this point. You just take it out, it's soft, all the gluten's very relaxed. We're gonna spread that out into a nice big rectangle, fairly even. You just press, it's just handling it very gently. And it feels amazing. It's so soft, really, really like it. Okay, so we're just pressing it out into a big rectangle. It's probably about 13 by maybe about 10. And by the way, this pan, y'all, is my favorite purchase this year. It is OXO brand. I'll put a link in the description box. And it is a metal pan, so it's very light, but it has a ceramic coating. So it's very non-stick, but with none of the bad non-stick. So it's like a ceramic coated cast iron type thing, but it's metal, so it's light and easy to use. And it has been so, so great for bread. So highly, highly recommend this if you're going to be making bread at home. Now this does need to be oiled a little bit. Let me grab my oil. Oh goodness. I'm also making dinner while I am making bread, so if you hear the beeping, that is my Instant Pot. I'm making some chicken in there. Okay, so for this, I'm just wiping some oil inside. You just want to make sure you have a nicely oiled loaf pan, and if it has a nonstick surface like this, even better. So we have our dough pressed out. I like to flip it over if you can. And then what we're going to do is just fold it into thirds so that it's about the width of the pan. So fold it into thirds and then just kind of press it into this log. And then we will just simply fold it up, and then if you can seal those seams, it'll be a little prettier. And then we'll fit this into our loaf pan like that. So you just kind of fit it into your loaf pan like that. It needs one more rise for about 30 minutes. What you're going for is you want the dough to rise about 1 inch over the top of this pan. And the key point here with the second rise is you don't want it to rise a lot more over the top of the pan. If you let it proof too long or rise too long, say you leave it for 2 hours, you forget about it or you go on an errand, hi, I did that, then it gets this sort of yeasty off flavor. And also what happens is that it will deflate once it cooks. So this is an example of that just was a big mess here. If you can see on top how it deflated, it had these huge bubbles from rising so long in this pan, and so it went in the oven and it just all deflated. Okay, gonna get my cling wrap. You can do cling wrap or a clean dish towel. Now we'll let this rise for 30 minutes to an hour in a warm spot. I'll see you then. All right, this is ready to bake. We're gonna pop it in the oven at 375 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then it's ready to enjoy. All right, the bread is done. Let's grab it. Look how amazing this looks. So beautiful. House smells amazing. We have fresh bread, and I really do need to let this cool a little bit. Ideally, you let it cool in the pan for about 5 minutes, and then take it out and put it on a wire rack. Now I'm jumping ahead here so we can taste it. See how nice it came out of that pan? It just popped right out. So here is our sandwich loaf bread. Very simple. I hope you get to try it. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think you're gonna try this bread? I can't wait to hear from you. Okay, let's give it a little taste. Cutting it a little bit early, but wow. Wow. Can you believe we made this? It smells so good. Everything good, good, good. So good. Great flavor, soft, moist, delicious. You've got to try this one. Hey, Coco. How are you doing, girl? Huh? What you doing? Huh? Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Want to get up on your couch? Who's a good girl? Oh, you have your little dolly. There she is. Oh, my goodness. This is her little dolly. She plays with it, but she doesn't destroy it like her other. It's her little teddy bear. It's so cute. Oh, my goodness. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're going to say hello? Coco, say hello to Birdie.